I tell you what I would be really offended by if they made this show now. Diff'rent Strokes.
Yes.
Because of the racial implications and the whole white savior narrative. Like, we've had enough of the white savior narrative.
Yeah.
Now,
y'all,
there are some times where there are white saviors in history and it's been proven, okay? But the idea that there is a lot of white saviors out there that need to be getting all this media coverage in television shows and movies is ridiculous. All stereotypes are based in some truth. And when we say these television shows couldn't be made today, it's not true. They can be if they're done right, because It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia does a lot of these themes, but it's tongue in cheek where you know what they're doing, and it comes off as not you know how some people can say things
they're ridiculous,
right? You know how I often get away. I'm not trying to put myself up there as some whatever, but I often get away with a lot of things that I say and do because of my personality. Like, Bruce is just being crazy, kind of like that SNL sketch where the boss is always like is getting ready to get fired for comments that he made, but there is Clarence, the front desk person, saying crazy stuff. When you're always kind of that personality, you get a pass, but that pass isn't given to everybody.
I think I think two things are at play. First, intent, right? Mm-hmm. Like, It's Always Sunny, you know they're ridiculous, and rarely is there ever malicious intent with the things that they do. Mm-hmm. They literally are just ignorant. Yeah. Like, they're literally just ignorant. But it doesn't feel willful. They just are ignorant. Mm-hmm. And then also attractiveness, right? Or that also plays it. So you could be like, you could say, sorry, I'm giving a heteronormative example, but you could be a woman walking down the street and get hit on by two different men, right? One's attractive, one isn't. Your reception could be a little different. And the reason, and they kind of played into that with that SNL skit, right? So the boss was making really not even that sexually suggestive of comments, but he made the female staff really uncomfortable. Then you got Clarence, this sweet old man, who is making explicitly suggestive comments, but because of his presentation, right? Because of who he is aesthetically, you're not as offended because it's just a crazy old man. That's just Clarence. Yeah. You know, so that plays, there's a psychology to it and a nuance to it also of like who it is you get offended by.
I tell you what I would be really offended by if they made this show now. Diff'rent Strokes.
Yes.
Because of the racial implications and the whole white savior narrative. Like, we've had enough of the white savior narrative.
Yeah.
Now,
y'all
story,
because
the story is good.
It's untrue.
What with the white savior?
Yes. Now you've got the magical Negro, right? That feels a lot based in reality, right? Because a lot of how we navigate the world
feels based in
reality. A lot of how we navigate the world is also playing into the sensitivity of whiteness, right? Mm-hmm. And helping them along, right? But this reverse thing of like Dangerous Minds or Freedom Writers, where this white teacher comes in and educates the kids about.
There are true stories, because Chandler from Friends played a teacher from your neck of the woods is based on a true story. So it does happen.
That guy is just a good teacher. He's not a white savior. He works in a predominantly black school, but he's just a great teacher. He's a great educator, and he cares about his students.
He went into the hood. He went places I wouldn't go.
That's a damn job. He's just teaching the kids. That's all it is. He's just teaching the kids. Right. But Diff'rent Strokes.
Me and you disagree. There are some times where there are white saviors in history, and it's been proven. Okay, but the idea that there is a lot of white saviors out there that need to be getting all this media coverage in television shows and movies is ridiculous, especially when you find out the blind side was a whole bunch of lies and they was manipulating and Sandra, but you forget about it because Sandra Bullock played the hell out of that role and you just wanted to be
hell
true.
out of it.
You just wanted, and it's Sandy, and it's Sandy Bullock, but different strokes.
It's too to be but no.
Different strokes. Your housekeeper, your maid dies, and you decide to adopt her 2 sons out the ghetto of Harlem and bring them to the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
What you talking about, Willis?
Right. He got to say what you're talking about.
Like what? Like what? That don't even make no damn. That don't even make no sense.
All right, another TV show, Dukes of Hazzard. Dukes of Hazzard. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I really liked John Schneider when he was Superman's daddy in Smallville. Then I found out that he's MAGA right now, so I can't even like him. But did not like him when he was on the Dukes of Hazzard, mainly because Confederate flag. You can't do nothing mainstream right now with no Confederate flag. Not with them being the heroes. They could be the villains.
Exactly. Now we did get Daisy Duke out of that.
And I ain't mad about that. But you know what? Speaking of Daisy Dukes, she ain't had no cheeks. Even for 1970s and 80s, she ain't had no cheeks.
I don't know.
She ain't had no cheeks.
I honestly don't remember it.
I watched the show
that much
solely just to see her and them Daisy Dukes, and I'd be like, them ain't no cheeks. That's what
they were pretty shorts. I'm looking at a picture of them now.
I'm saying she ain't had no cheeks. That's what I'm saying.
I don't ever think she really did. She turn around ever?
Yeah, no, they showed it, and she ain't had no cheeks. There's whole pictures of it. She ain't had no cheeks.
Yeah.
But just the whole Confederate thing, you know.
Yeah.
And people talk fondly upon that show, white people, because I don't know too many black, but you know, there's some black people that drape themselves in the Confederate flag, so whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Alf, but I don't even want to talk about that because that could be a TV show that is made today. It's very tongue-in-cheek. You could do it like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. What you could not do is Three's Company, because here was a guy pretending to be gay just so that he could live in an apartment with 2 women and that they could get a decreased version of rent. And yes, that is extremely problematic because they made homophobic jokes on gender, sexuality, sexual jokes. It would, okay, let me rephrase it. It wouldn't fly the way it was made now. There's a way to make it now.
Yeah, you could definitely do. Listen, in today's economy, there are definitely a bunch of Three's companies all over this country. Like, are you kidding me? Like, no, we got to live together. Like, we all got to pitch in on this.
It's couples that broke up that still had to live together.
Still together. Sometimes you're in the same bedroom because you only got a 1-bedroom. So that you just got to live with that.
If we broke up, I got to sleep on the couch.
No, Three's Company can definitely be a thing today. Absolutely.
Changed, though. It has to be changed. Yeah. The show in its incarnation in the 80s could not be made today. It was too problematic. But there is a way that you can make Three's Companies today that it could be funny. That's the reason why I completely disagree with Jerry Seinfeld when he was like, no, you can't make comedy shows today. And the one of the head writers and lead actors from Always Sunny said, yeah, you can. Because Jerry was like, you can't do problematic stuff. You get canceled. Which I don't even understand how that's possible, because his former writing partner, Larry David, did Curb. And it has problematic themes all through every episode, but it's hilarious.
That's literally the premise of the show.
Right.
Is that Larry is problematic.
So you can do problematic stuff, but like you said, there has to be some discernment in the way that you do that form of comedy. Happy Days you probably couldn't do, because I don't know if there's too many black folks on Happy Days, except when they wanted to do a racial Happy Days show where the dude was being denied food at the lunch counter and the Fonz was like, hey, and snapped his fingers and he got food. But then the Fonz was, he was problematic because he would be considered an F-boy in today's society.
Well, also he's like this weird caricature, like this weird like Italian caricature also that I probably wouldn't fly today.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think, the history of black representation in the media has always been bad. Another group that has a strong claim to being really poorly represented in the media are Italians. And I say this to my Italian friends all the time. I was like, the only time y'all are portrayed on television are Mafia or Jersey Shore. And they're like, no, that's not true. I'm like, okay, let's go down the line. When has there ever been some like a proud Italian movie? A lot of Italians say, well, The Godfather. I was like, it's a movie about a mafia family, but it's about Italian heritage. I mean, definitely, right? But not one person in it is this noble, moral person. So yes, Italian people get represented, and the Fonz is a prime example of how, why does he have to be the caricature? Why does he have to be the dude from Greece?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, part of it is that person did exist, right?
Yes.
There was the greaser,
all
right?
stereotypes are based in some truth, but it doesn't
I don't know about all, but
give me a stereotype that isn't based in.
I get what you want me to off the top of my head.
If you can't think of it off the top of your head, then it ain't one.
Join the conversation and follow the Unsolicited Perspectives podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your audio podcasts.